Hello everyone, this is the question 10 important questions, simple answers video series about deep learning topics. And the question is, can you explain the dropout layer? Why is it useful? How? What are the practical suggestions? Like in all questions, let's look at the answers step by step. First of all, shortest and simplest answer is dropout is one of the regularization techniques in deep learning against overfitting. But what is dropout exactly? How is the working mechanism? So with dropout layer, some neurons will be randomly dropped out, disabled in each iteration during the training, and the weights of those neurons will not be adjusted in that iteration. Remember, learning progress depends on the weights, and for that specific iteration, that neurons will not learn. Visual explanation will be better, so let's look at section 2 for that. As you see, we have an example neural network here with one input layer, four hidden layers, and one output layer. And without dropout usage, we have 16, 20, 15, 12, and 4 parameters in these layers. And when we use dropout, for example, on these two layers, this one and this one, for this layer, these two randomly selected neurons will be dropped out, turned off. There is no dropout in the second layer, and let's assume that we have dropped out layer for the third hidden layer, like that. And this neuron is also randomly selected. And here, be careful, these neurons will not be disabled during the entire training. In each iteration, randomly selected neurons will be disabled like in this example. So we can assume that neural network will run like this architecture. You can easily see that our connections, our parameters decreased here. It usually increases the generalization success of the model. Of course, be careful. We will not destroy these neurons. We will just disable them for this specific iteration. For the next iteration, the disabled neurons will be different since the selection is random. Also, as you see, we can add dropout layer to some layers, but also we can add to all or just one. This depends on design choice. So we can summarize that in dropout, there is random selection. Also, we have dropout rate like 0.2, 0.3, which means 20%, 30%, or 50%. And for example, if you decide 0.2 for the dropout rate, then until 20% of the neurons of that layer can be disabled. Of course, you can use different values for that, but remember, selection will be random. And you can use dropout in each layer of hidden layers or one layer or some. And basically, it is for preventing overfitting. When we add dropout layers, the model will increase the generalization. And another important thing, be careful, usually we use dropout layer in the training, not in the testing. And of course, base configuration and implementation depends on the model. So you have to try and find the best configuration to increase the positive effect of dropout layers. And lastly, let's look at some best practices and tips for the dropout layers. The first one, use the dropout layers in fully connected layers. And start with low rate like 0.2. And if it is not enough, you can increase slightly. And don't use dropout in the input layer. You can lose some valuable information. Use it in the hidden layers. And to increase the performance of the model, usually it's better to use other regularization techniques with dropout, such as weight decay, early stopping. Sometimes you can add dropout layers to all layers, but sometimes just precise number of layers. So which one is better? Actually, both of them can be good according to the model. So you should try, and the benchmarking also can be good to understand which one is better. And usually we will not use dropout after the training in the prediction, but sometimes it can be considered, which is called Monte Carlo dropout. And the last tip, be careful about non-deterministic behavior of dropout layers. Since the selection is random, dropout layers behavior will be non-deterministic. That's all. I tried to explain one of the important topics of deep learning, dropout, and for the hands-on part, Keras provides very user-friendly interface to build dropout layers. You can check the tutorial of Keras about that. See you in the next question.